If you've ever been on TikTok, you've probably seen artists like GAYLE, Leah, and Fletcher all kind of combine different elements and genres like pop and rock and hip hop to create these productions that really allow them to tell their stories of what it's like to be a woman. And it's a genre that I'm seeing pop up more and more. I love the blending of genres. And in this video today, I wanted to break down a production that I got to do in this style for an artist named Montana Taylor. So if you want to hear the full song, it is out now. You can go check that out. Go show her some love, show her some support. But other than that, I'm really excited to break down this video because there are quite a few different genres that we are blending to create this kind of angsty, angry, but still kind of upbeat pop song. So we're going to dive into all of that and check that out in 1 second. But before we do, my name is Austin. You're watching Make Pop Music. If you like this video, we have videos like this every single Friday, so make sure that you subscribe. And then other than that, if you want to support us, head over to our website, makepopmusic.com. There are a billion things that you can grab over there. Let's dive in and let's check this out. So to start, I should probably give a little bit of a backstory. So Montana hit me up to actually work on this song, and all she kind of had to start was a little voice memo of the kind of chorus melody and the one-liner that she wanted to write the song around. And then she had this kind of like demo production that she was kind of just using in terms of like genre and key and tempo. So what I did was I kind of took that demo, pulled some different elements out of that, and then just kind of recreated it from the ground up. And then once I built out the production, Montana and her writing team kind of went in, finished out the writing, recorded vocals, and sent it back to me. So that was kind of how we went back and forth. I believe she's in Nashville. I'm in Orlando. So this is all done remote. And to start, the main thing that I heard in that first kind of demo and idea that she told me, and something that I wanted to kind of pull from that GAYLE and especially Leah K influence, was doing this kind of ukulele. So a lot of these songs almost have this like nursery rhyme quality to them, which I kind of like. And so I wanted to kind of highlight that. And I'm doing that with this ukulele right here. So I tracked this live. I have one over here in the corner of the studio, and I just double tracked it, panned it out, and then printed it. And this is what it sounded like with nothing on it. Threw a little bit of EQ on, threw some compression and some extra EQ. I basically just wanted to squash this thing and make it super transient and super, super plucky. And this is what it sounded like. And that's kind of the main motif throughout the entire song. You'll kind of see it here in the blue. It's basically going through this whole thing. So once I had that, I knew that we wanted to pull some pop punk influence as well, especially since like Fletcher and Leah K are doing that pretty often. And so what I did is I tracked up this guitar, the Spacey guitar right here. It sounds a little bit like this. And so what I did was I tracked a guitar and then I just threw it through this random little guitar rig preset that I believe is like their Padasphere or something like that. I don't even remember. That was committed forever ago and I can't even remember it. But with a ukulele, it kind of creates this really cool vibe. And then I just have this guitar right here that's really kind of doing the pop punk vibes. It sounds a little bit like this. Throwing on quite a bit of EQ to kind of tone that out. So that's just running through some different amps and some different kind of like effects pedals. And then all together, we kind of get this really nice verse. And you can see that for half this verse, we actually pull in this palm muted acoustic guitar. It's not there the entire time. And that's just really to mimic that ukulele. So for the verse, we're kind of working with 8 bars without that palm mute guitar, 8 bars with that palm mute guitar. And it sounds a little bit like this. Then I just wanted to kind of put a couple different synths, nothing doing anything too wild, but we have this little swelling synth right here. Let me show you what it sounded like straight out of Omnisphere. So it's cool. It's just like a little swell pad, but I added effects modulator so I could actually do some volume automation. Just so it kind of blends in with that motif of that little plucky ukulele and guitar. And then we just did a bunch of EQing. One of those things that you can't even really hear in the mix, but it just adds a nice little bit of space. It allows things to sound a little bit wetter and spacier without me having to drown everything in reverb. And then the last little melodic thing that we have is this little vocal chop right here that I actually think I just took off of Splice and then just re-chopped it and repitched it a bunch. And it's just creating a little bit of texture. So other than that, that's pretty much it melodic-wise for the first half of the verse. The only thing that we're pulling in terms of percussion is she just wanted some hi-hats and claps. And that is it for the verse. Other than that, we just have her lead vocal. I've just split it into 2 different areas because she kind of sings in a different register for the first 2 lines and the next 2 lines. So I just EQ those a little bit differently, take out a little bit extra lows in this beginning part.
You're lonely, but you can never be alone. You say you hate going out, but you're never at home. I could be a 10, but you still wouldn't commit. When I say I'm done,
so now we're going into the pre-chorus. So that's where we pull in that palm muted acoustic that I was talking about earlier. And that's also where we pull in that Spacey guitar that I showed you a little bit earlier. So we're pulling those 2 elements in. We're pulling in this big little bass. This is just the cleanest resurround out of our Synergy pack for Vital. So if you have Vital, or if you don't have it, actually, it's a free synth. You should probably download it. And if you download it and want some presets, we have a preset pack for it that is honestly really, really fire. So that's the only kind of new stuff that we have, other than we have this little pluck. Kind of wanted that nursery rhyme vibe to still happen. So we have this little like vibra harp pluck. It's just this really spacey, almost like a music box kind of thing. Really nice texture. And then we're just layering up another little vocal chop. With this big ass phaser on it. So melodically, we have all of this. And you can hear I used a lot of filtering in this song to kind of open up and close up things. So if I go right here to this magnitude, let's see which one is actually opening. So we're just automating little cuts like that all throughout the verses and the pre-choruses to kind of create this dynamic. And then we just have this last little extra palm muted guitar that comes in on the last like 4 bars or 2 bars. And that's pretty much it. There are no drums that happen in this pre-chorus. The only other things are some risers and hits. And then for vocal production, literally just 1 vocal still. We just have this gigantic reverb. So I'll solo these out.
All your jokes turn sexual. Every picture sent to multiples. Thanks, but I don't want.
So you can see that we're right here just kind of automating that reverb up. So it's essentially just the lead vocal with ultra reverb by Eventide thrown on there. And then just kind of automating that up almost like its own little send. So it's a nice little way to add space. And then going into the chorus right here, we're pulling in this crunchy vocal and this 4-minute vocal. So right here, just a ton of saturation with Decapitator. The 910 harmonizer, we use it all the time on this channel on the vocal thickener setting with mix at like 73%. And then we're doing our handy dandy low formant control right here. Basically just shift it down and auto-tune a whole octave, throw on doubler, and then filter it out and let it rock.
Thanks, but I don't want your
and it just adds this nice little bit of impact that comes in on the last little bar.
Thanks, but I don't want your little dick pic.
And then since we have no drums, we figured it could be cool to kind of introduce the chorus with this little drum fill. Just a couple little fills that we had from the Sweet Tooth pack. I think I was working on that at the time that we were working on this song, so I was trying to kind of use some of those things in here. And then other than that, now we're moving on to the chorus. So this is the first time that we ever have like a big drum arrangement, so I'll go ahead and show that. First time we have a kick, it is just this like traditional trappy kick. We have the clap and a snare. Have a little rim shot. And then it's just some hi-hats. Got some steady hats. Some live hats to kind of add that pop punk vibe. Got a little ride cymbal. Little accent hits right here for the snare, and then this little perk movement loop. So it's a pretty sick drum arrangement. It has a lot of movement, it has a lot of groove, and that does a lot of the work. So we mix that with just kind of the risers and hits and effects that come in. And we're still working with that ukulele right here. Now we're pulling in an 808 though for the bass, and it's just kind of mimicking the bass pattern. And this is just in Sublab. If you've never used it, it's a really cool, pretty inexpensive plugin. And I just used their signature 1, and then I think I shortened this. This is normally like a 4-second release. So we're doing 430 milliseconds just to give us that kind of like, almost like an E&D Dior kind of trippy red 24 karat golden vibe. Got a nice little reverse drum hit. Really gives us that like early 2000s vibe. And then in terms of guitar, this is really where we start layering things up. So we have these little guitars. Double tracked, one panned, 87% left and then 86% right. And then other than that, we have these big, like overly saturated strat chords. We got some power chords behind it. And the fun thing was I actually turned those down an octave because it kind of just gave me this like sludgy background because I didn't really need any more information where the normal octave sat. And then we just have some acoustics right here. Super crunchy, super saturated, sounds nice. We didn't want to go overly rock, but we also didn't want it to be just kind of like soft and underwhelming. So that's what we went with over here. And then for the synths, I didn't want to add too much because we want this song to be mostly guitar based, but I did want to add a couple little layers, and these are kind of just to accent things. So I added that little pretty pluck. We added this gigantic hyper bass that is from Serum as well. So this is from our Poptopia preset pack, just the hyper reese. Really low in the mix, but it adds a nice little bit of grit. Then we added this synth bass that is also out of our pack. This one is also from Poptopia. Then we use this big drop brass, which is from the Echo Soundworks Gray pack. I use this freaking brass for everything. This thing is so good. You should buy that pack just for that one brass. No affiliation, no plug or nothing, but it's just so good. So as you can see, it's just a lot of different call and response between melodic elements. So with the guitars, the drums, all of the effects, and all of those synths, we get something like this. Gives us a nice, huge chorus. And then in terms of vocal production, this is really where we start kind of layering things. So we have her lead vocal right here.
All you wanna do is fuck, boy, but you can't.
We have the crunchy and the formant vocal that I showed you earlier.
All you wanna do is fuck, boy, but you can't even fuck, boy, if you think girls.
And then we have a dub for the left and a dub for the right.
All you wanna do is fuck, boy, but you can't even fuck, boy, if you think girls suck, boy, maybe you should.
And then we just have this little vocal right here. Just super affected, super wet. It just added this nice little bit of space while everything kind of picks up the pace a little.
Boys, here again at 3 a.m. coming around when you're drunk. Boy, don't call me crying from your truck, boy, cause I don't give up.
Then other than that, we just layered up a bunch of big shouts for the basically fuckboy phrases. So, sounds like this.
Fuck boy, fuck boy, suck boy, fuck boys.
None of them are tuned, nothing. We just kind of left them loose. We wanted that kind of variation in there. And then when you play everything together, you get this chorus that sounds pop-punky, sounds hip-hoppy, sounds anthemic, but also still sounds pissed off while being upbeat.
Dick pic. All you wanna do is fuck, boy, but you can't even fuck, boy, if you think girls suck, boy, maybe you should go and fuck, boys. Here again at 3 a.m. coming around when you're drunk. Boy, don't call me crying from your truck, boy, cause I don't give a fuck, boy.
Back to the ukulele, but here I've just transposed it down a whole octave. She got a little spoken vocal right here.
Seriously? What the fuck, boy?
Nice big reverse guitar effect. And then now we're going into the second verse. We don't add a bunch of like technically new stuff really. All we're doing is kind of pulling different elements. So we have a lot of the same ukulele and guitar, but now we're adding some of those drums back in.
You wanna have your cake and eat it too.
Letting everything be a little bit vibier. We do have this kind of drowsy chop.
Always in the.
Got some infiltrator, got some panner, got some filtering. Sounds nice. And then we have these palm mutes. Just to kind of thicken up everything under that drum. Other than that, we're still kind of using a single vocal for the first half. The only thing is we're just doing some of these little throws now to kind of fill up that dead space because we don't need as much as that first verse.
You wanna have your cake and eat it too. But baby, I got no more cake for you. You played games with my self-esteem.
So we have a really short verse. It's literally only like four bars. And then we go into that pre-chorus again. And it's kind of following a similar pattern, but we're keeping the drums going. We're not letting everything get super vibey and ambient. We just have that bass pad come back in.
Played games with my self-esteem. Don't treat me right, even in my dreams. You don't want me, you.
And then we just pull it out for the last two bars to kind of create a nice, like, little moment before the chorus comes back in huge.
You don't want me, you just want me to want you. All you wanna do is fuck, boy, but you can't eat.
And again, a lot of that is same elements, just done with filtering. She kind of pulls everything down before it comes back. Same with the guitars, I believe. That's pretty much all for the second verse and the second pre-chorus. And yeah, then we just go into another big chorus. I don't think that we've added anything except for nothing. We didn't add anything, actually. So it's good to go.
All you wanna do is fuck, boy, but you can't even fuck, boy, if you think girls.
And then the last little thing that we did is we wanted a bridge, but the bridge could just kind of be an extension of the chorus. So we just kind of let it go right here.
Roll the fuck up, boy.
It basically just acts as a turnaround like we had from the first chorus going into the second verse. We just made it twice as long, and she kind of threw a one-liner melody on there. And then this is like probably my favorite part of the song. We have this big dropout, like Braden Bales style, knock style dropout, and I thought that this did a lot for the song. So you'll see what we do right here.
All you wanna do is fuck, boy, but you can't even.
So we're just achieving that by having those kicks. 1, 2. We're just mimicking that on the guitars, on every guitar basically. And to create a dynamic, I didn't want them to be kind of full frequency spectrum, so I'm filtering them out, making them a little bit grittier, and then we're also doing the same thing with these synths. And same thing with the bass. Mixing that with everything, and then just kind of throwing that vocal through a telephone effect too. Just gives us a nice little super staccato, kind of filtered out, really, really nice. I guess it's like a chorus, but technically I'm using it as like a pre-chorus.
All you wanna do is fuck, boy, but you can't even fuck, boy, if you think girls suck, boy, maybe you should go and fuck, boy. Coming around when you're drunk, boy, don't call me crying from your truck, boy, 'cause I don't give a fuck, boy.
Then we just go into a big post-chorus where she can just kind of repeat that line. And that pretty much does it for the entire song.
Coming around when you're drunk, boy, don't call me crying from your truck, boy, 'cause I don't give a fucked up, boy.
Big kind of pull out at the end, and that is everything that goes into the song. So it's one of my smaller arrangements, but with this, we just wanted it to hit where it hit. We actually had a lot more stuff in there, and she felt like it was just getting too big and too anthemic. So we were kind of trying to toe the line of, we needed to sound big, we needed to sound angry, we still needed to be upbeat, but if you throw too much at it, it gets almost like arena rocky and stadium, and we didn't want that. So we pulled out a couple different like drum layers, we pulled out a couple different guitar layers, we pulled out a bunch of synth layers, and this is just kind of what we ended up on. So, you know, hopefully this video kind of helped you see some of the different elements that might go into making a song like GAYLE or Fletcher or Leah K or Montana Taylor. But if you like this video, please let us know in the comments down below. Again, if you want to listen to this, you can actually go check it out right now. Also, I've never told anybody on the channel this, I don't think, but we do have a playlist that I have been kind of making and updating frequently on just smaller pop artists that I'm really, really stoked about. So if you're looking for a cool playlist to kind of find new artists, I will also link that in the description down below as well. Feel free to follow it on Spotify. I'll be updating that regularly. And then other than that, if you want to support us, head over to our website, makepopmusic.com. That's where you can show us some love, pick up sample packs, preset packs, MIDI packs. We have a start to finish production course. And then subscribe to this channel if you want to see videos like this every single Friday. But that's going to do it for this video. I'll see you guys soon. Much love, everyone. Peace.